Nigeria is seeking about $7.050 billion, an equivalent of N2.679 trillion, from multilateral financial institutions and the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority (NSIA) to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 on the economy. A breakdown indicates that $3.4 billion is being sourced from the International Monetary Fund (IMF), $2.5 billion from the World Bank and $1 billion from the African Development Bank (AFDB), as well as $150 million to be drawn from NSIA, bringing the total to $7.050 billion or N2.679 trillion at an exchange rate of N$380. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, who briefed journalists in Abuja yesterday on measures being taken in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, noted that the federal government had already applied for the release of its contributions to IMF totaling $3.4 billion under the fund's Rapid Credit Facility. The country, she added, is also seeking a $2.5 billion loan from the World Bank, $1 billion from the AFDB as well as an undisclosed amount from the Islamic Development Bank. The minister explained that $150 million would be drawn from the Stabilization Fund of NSIA to augment the June allocation to be shared by the Federation Account Allocation Committee (FAAC) due to dwindling accruals into the Federation account. Explaining the moves towards seeking external interventions from multilateral institutions, the minister said, "Nigeria has a contribution of $3.4 billion with IMF and we are entitled to draw up to the whole of that $3.4 billion or less. We have in the first instance applied for that maximum amount, then in the process when we negotiate, we might get the maximum amount or less, but that is the amount of our contribution with IMF, and this is the provision that IMF has made for every member country that you can apply for between 50 to 100% of your contribution to IMF. Again, this is a program that has no conditions attached to IMF programs, and this is not an IMF program." She stated that up to about 80 countries had applied to draw from their contributions to IMF, in a bid to assuage the impact of COVID-19. Ahmed said Nigeria has also requested from the World Bank $2.5 billion and another $1 billion from the AFDB. The minister added that when secured, $1.5 billion of the $2.5 billion World Bank facility would go to the federal government, while the states get $1 billion. During the process of reviews and negotiations, the proportion could change, but the request we are making is on behalf of the Federation, in all of these multilateral institutions, she added. Ahmed, who chairs the Fiscal Stimulus Committee set up by President Muhammadu Buhari, noted that Nigeria is exposed to the risks of both a pronounced decline in oil prices and spikes in risk aversion in the global capital markets. According to her, although similar challenges were experienced in 2008-2009 as well as in 2015-2016, Nigeria has considerably lower fiscal buffers now than in previous economic downturns. The decline in international oil prices and domestic production may be magnified if a severe outbreak of COVID-19 occurs, despite ongoing efforts to curtail the spread of the pandemic through compulsory lockdown of Lagos and Ogun states as well as the Federal Capital Territory (FCT). She said. To directly address these health and economic challenges, she stated that the President has approved the establishment of a fiscal stimulus package, as part of an integrated policy framework to provide support for Nigeria's healthcare system, fiscal position and economy to weather the shocks.